Hey everyone, and welcome back. Now today I want to talk about Solana because Solana honestly is looking like the strongest altcoin in the entire crypto market right now. I mean, it's performed really well so far this cycle. The ecosystem has kind of overall seemed to be one of the big winners. I mean, I think we can attribute meme coins kind of largely to Solana and kind of the success that we've seen with meme coins, and very likely the continued growth and success of meme coins will largely be on the back of the Solana ecosystem. So, I mean, we've seen a lot of really interesting things and a lot of really bullish things for Solana just itself, as well as the larger crypto ecosystem. And so I do think that like it does seem that Solana is the strongest altcoin right now. And honestly, like I want to do a little bit of a price prediction showing kind of some of the things that we could potentially see as we run kind of further into this cycle, and why Solana has just been so strong, both, you know, from like a community perspective as well as just on the chart as well. So let's go ahead and check the chart out. But what we can see here is like if we look at price range and we kind of take like the bottom-ish here and we go to the top-ish, this is what, like, we'll just call it 1,000% gain. Now, obviously, this is going to make things look a little bit ridiculous. We'll go from the bottom here to the top. 1,000% would put us, we're gonna have to zoom out for it. 1,000% would put us pretty close to like $1,300 for Solana. Obviously decent move to the upside. I really don't think we'll see anything kind of like this, kind of moving up to like the $1,300 range. I think probably something in like the 600 range, based on kind of what we looked at previously with like fib extensions and things like that. I think that's probably more likely. But I mean, I have seen people call for Solana, you know, in that like 12 to 1,400 range. And if we saw a move kind of similar in magnitude, that's about where we would get. So again, like I said, I think this is a little bit, you know, maybe overzealous to expect something like that type of move. But I do think, you know, given the strength that we've seen here, we probably do see like a pretty strong move to the upside. And as I've said before on the channel, you know, $500, $600, maybe $700 range, that's probably kind of what I'm seeing. But even still, you know, from $165, that's, you know, 4x kind of at the midpoint. So, you know, not a bad investment at all. Again, this is just my opinion, obviously not financial advice, just because I don't know for certain what's going to happen. This just seems like, you know, it could potentially be a possibility. So looking at that, that's kind of where we're at right now on the Solana chart. We can see, you know, kind of sitting in the middle of the range. So as far as taking like a trade of like maximum opportunity, like risk reward, probably not a great time to do that. If you want to short Solana, up here would probably be a good time to do it. And if you wanted a long, you know, waiting for a pullback closer to this level would be awesome. I think given the like bullish sentiment we're seeing in the market so far, it would surprise me if we came back to a level, you know, kind of this level. I think probably this 160 range may potentially be the lows that we see kind of for the rest of the market. You know, I think we could start to see some pretty strong momentum to the upside here soon. And so, you know, depending on kind of how that looks, that's kind of, you know, how that could end up shaking out. Also, as you can see, you know, we do use Margex for a lot of our charting here. If you are interested, Margex does require no KYC and no VPN to do up to 100x leverage trading. So if this is something that you're interested in, you can feel free to just get signed up and get started. They don't require, like, as I said, no KYC or VPN, and you also get up to $10,000 in deposit bonuses. So if that's something you're interested, feel free to check out the link in my description. I also do have a link in the description for BTCC. That's more of a, I guess you could say, like a traditional exchange, where Margex is more like kind of leverage only. So if you are looking for a good place to trade spot, they also do leverage. They actually do higher leverage than Margex, which is kind of nice. But Margex is nice because of the no KYC and no VPN. Also, BTCC does do tokenized securities and like stocks, so like Apple, Nvidia, those types of things, which I think is really cool and probably one of the coolest things that I've seen within like a crypto exchange. So anyway, if you are interested in any of those, I do have them in the link in the description below. Just feel free to go on ahead and get signed up. Moving on, I wanted to take a look at kind of how things have performed against Bitcoin, because one thing that we have seen over the past like 2-3 years is that usually kind of Bitcoin leads the way, right? And so what we can see since kind of the beginning of 2022, which I would call the beginning of 2022, probably kind of like the like last twilight days of like the 2021 bull run, right? And so what we can see is both Solana and Ethereum are in fact down compared to like Bitcoin dominance, right? So both of these, if you were to have bought them on January 1st, 2022, and you would have bought all of them together, both Ethereum and Solana would have lost to Bitcoin in terms of like the value of the investment is concerned. Now, Solana would have dropped by about 35% and Ethereum by about 55%. Obviously, not particularly great returns either way. And this is something that it would have just made more sense to stay in Bitcoin, right? However, what we can see is recently a pretty like divergent trend showing up between both Solana and Ethereum. So, all right, so I've kind of reformatted the chart. So now what we can see is this chart starts at the beginning of June, so June 1st, 2023 through today. So about the past, like, what is that, like 15 months or so, just over about a year, maybe more like, I guess it's more like a year and 4 months or something like that, right? But what we can see is ever since then, obviously this is a little bit skewed. I am sort of cherry picking the information here because what we could see is, at this point, Solana kind of has its like final dump. We see it kind of get down to kind of the lowest point that it hits in terms of like Solana Bitcoin. And then from here, it's basically up only. And the most important thing that we've seen here is particularly since like, kind of when we saw this like mini alt season, I'd want to call it, here in like the middle of March, it's held pretty consistent ever since then. Where if we look at Ethereum, it's been down only basically ever since like the past 16 months or whatever the time period here is showing. Solana's up almost 211% against Bitcoin, where Ethereum is down almost 50% in the same time. So if you were an ETH maxi and you were kind of fading Solana, like you've lost big in this comparison here. Again, it is Bitcoin season, and so most things have dropped towards Bitcoin, except for obviously Solana. Solana's done incredibly well. But the most important thing to me is not necessarily the run up, because this is a lot of like recovery from some of the panic, right? We can see from the earlier chart that both Solana and Ethereum are still down against Bitcoin from like kind of the dying lights of the previous bull market, right? So, I mean, this is not to say that like if you just held Solana forever, like you would have won out. That's not true. Bitcoin is the one that kind of would have been the biggest winner if you were just like purely a passive investor and were just holding exclusively. But if you would have bought into Solana and maybe sold out of your Bitcoin and bought into Solana kind of at the kind of very depths of the bear market, you would have done actually really quite well for yourself. Where if you would have made the same trade for Ethereum, it would not have done particularly well for you. Again, at least comparing to Bitcoin. So this is something that to me is really, really interesting to see, is because as everything else essentially has bled to Bitcoin and the entire alt market has basically gotten wrecked, at this point in time, Solana has basically kind of held in step with Bitcoin. Like and even if we come up since March, right, we can see Solana's bled a little bit, about 14% to Bitcoin. But in that same time, Ethereum's down almost 34%. Obviously, not really doing well at all for Ethereum, but Solana has held, really quite well, considering kind of how Bitcoin has done. And so this is something I want to go over to show like the strength of Solana. I think a lot of people have kind of overlooked like just how strong Solana has actually been kind of performing against Bitcoin particularly, but particularly against other like types of alts, right? Like alts have done really, really poorly over these past 6 months or so, and Bitcoin and Solana has not. Like it's obviously pulled back, like of course, but in like comparable magnitude to some of these others, it's done really, really quite impressively. And so overall, looking at Solana, hopefully based on some of those charts that we took a look at, you can see that like it really has, it's performed really, really well. And one of the things that you can find when you're looking at not just crypto, but like any market, is generally when you have these types of investments that perform just better than the market, right? When the market goes down, they stay level. When the market goes up 10%, they go up 15. When the market goes down 10, they, go down 5 or whatever. Like whenever something like that just generally overperforms the market, as well as seeing some fundamental developments that we have seen on the market, as well as like, the blockchain has not gone down as frequently as it was, kind of a couple years past. Kind of meme coins, I would say, like maybe they started on Ethereum, but right now, like if you think about meme coins, or if you ask kind of the general crypto person about meme coins, their mind would probably kind of go to Solana almost immediately. I would say probably for the majority of the crypto audience. And so these are some of the things that like I think really kind of give some indications of how a project is going to perform. And so kind of like we said, based on the chart, maybe we see $1,200 to $1,400. That would kind of be a 10x from here, kind of like we've already seen a 10x, and we've obviously like seen the consolidation hold really, really well. Like I said, kind of the bigger you get in market cap and the more that like the price goes up, the harder it is to kind of duplicate that again. And so 10x to me seems like that might be a little bit much. kind of from a low, a 5x would be kind of like, I think in like the $650, $700 range. That to me seems to make a little bit more sense. Also, we have to think in the back of our mind about market cap. Right now, we're at $200 and we're sitting at about a $70 billion market cap. If we were to go to like $600 per se, that would put us at like $300 million market cap. Depending on how Ethereum performs, I would assume Ethereum probably outperforms that. So it wouldn't necessarily flip Ethereum as far as becoming like the ETH killer per se, but it could get potentially pretty close. And I do think that there's a general sense that like flipping Ethereum could be in play. I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but like it could be in play this bull run. And so for something like that to happen, I do think between a $600 to $800 range, maybe even up to $1,000 is probably what we would need to hit to flip something like Ethereum. So I'm not saying that's a guarantee, and I'm not even saying that maybe that's even likely, right? But I do think it is possible. And I think with kind of how the Solana ecosystem has been performing so far, there's no real need to bet against it. So anyway, hopefully you found the information in this video useful. If you did, please do give me a like and subscribe. It really does help me out, especially pushing me out further into the YouTube algorithm and getting more people to hopefully find my videos. Also, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, anything like that, feel free to drop in the comment section below. I do try to read and respond to all of them. So if you have anything that you want me to see, that'd probably be the best way to do that. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you in the next video.